Life can go pretty fast. It's almost as if our lives are like pictures on our phones, quickly swiping, scrolling, passing by in a blur. One moment is like any other moment, and all those pictures can appear to be nothing more than one hazy muddle. Where did all of those moments go? So fast we can hardly believe it until we stop, until we look, until we take time.
One way that we can take time is to celebrate. Celebration is stopping and looking and embracing and cherishing the individual moments of our lives. All moments don't have to look the same. Instead of one unending, tedious rush through time, celebration is stopping the clock in order to enter into a bigger time, a better time, a moment that can redeem the rest of time. Celebration is a gift, especially when it's brought into the presence of God. Over and over again, God blesses celebrations. Be filled with joy, we heard in today's reading. Again, I say, be filled with joy. Or elsewhere, this is God's day, let us rejoice and be glad. Or that story that ends with, quick, bring the best robe, put rings on your fingers, kill the fatted calf. Let's have a feast and celebrate. Can you believe it's been 25 years? You arrived here in 1999.
And you did too.
Yes, yeah. And since then, we've all come to know you better, Julie, as our lives have intertwined with yours, and as we've come to appreciate your wisdom and to value your vision. Your impact on the life of this congregation and on the wider community and the wider church is undeniable. So there is much to celebrate. And as we prepared for this morning, we gave lots of thought to what we wanted to celebrate. Lots has happened in 25 years. Many good things, of course. Many incredible achievements. Many personal highlights and milestones. Many blessings. There have, of course, also been some struggles, some mountains to climb, some doubts and anxieties. The past is a box filled, a box overflowing with so many memories. We all have important and powerful memories to share.
And one of the memories I have is dealing with the sound system up here. Give me a second.
Okay.
This hum is driving me crazy. I don't know about the rest of you. And I have a theory that if I just go like this, yep, I figured. This is going to be simple. It was going to be easy. I know. I know. What did you do back there that fixed it? Oh, okay. I think it's a pulpit issue. But I want to unplug it, but it's not unplugging.
Do you want me to?
There's a thing.
Can I?
There's supposed to be a... This is church. This is church. Okay, you have to be able to pull that out.
Pull it up?
Yeah, but there's usually a thing that you have to push.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to unplug the thing.
I can't find
Exactly.
the thing.
Trying to solve problems together. Is it working? No, not at all. No, you didn't get it?
Nope.
All right, well then I'm just going to invite us to just slide over a little bit.
Okay,
Go the other direction.
a little further away.
Further away, further away. And hopefully that's our problem. I know this is our problem, but I know exactly, Nelina. It's a problem. All right, never mind. Turn us back on and see how we do. Okay. Memories. You're talking about memories.
Yes.
Am I on now?
Yep,
You can hear me?
yep.
I feel different. Okay. All right. So we were talking about memories, and I dared to go back through some of the annual reports to see what kind of things might be worth celebrating. And I was fascinated to see that every year I was talking about change and unknowing and adapting and learning. I'd almost forgotten the year that we had 18 Canada World Youth students in our building engaging in a local program, and how we hosted 2 of those as a work placement. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what work the 19-year-olds could do for us that would be beneficial to them and to us. I do remember quite well the festival of celebration we had in the auditorium when that program was completed, with so many cultural foods and traditions represented. Who knew how much more cultural diversity would be a part of our life here at Trinity when, like 20 years later, with the work of the Refugee Coalition introducing us to Syrian families, the Portage Islamic Association. And then, like, opening up ourselves to the world around us feels like something that, in my experience here, we've begun to kind of embrace and celebrate and keep celebrating. It's what part of what the affirming process was about, and claiming the label of being affirming. And I suppose the most obvious example of that opening up to the community has been what we called the West Wing Project, which became the Portage Ukrainian Nursery School, as well as the home of Big Brothers Big Sisters Portage La Prairie. And I learned so much about partnering and project managing and building codes. But what a success it turned out to be, after years of struggling and trying to sort out what to do with all the vacant spaces in the church. Once we had so much room for storage that we could take in the belongings of people who were dealing with that flood in 2011. And now, with the groups that make their home in this church building, we can't find anywhere to put the musical instruments that are currently hiding underneath the front pew. And as much as I would celebrate the big things, there are so many smaller things that hang out in my mind and heart as we celebrate over the years. I had so much fun with the UCW members when we created a 50th anniversary choir with some women who were used to singing and loved it, and a whole bunch of others who hadn't sung in a long time, or maybe never sang in a choir. It was fantastic. And there were 2 times when I got to work with youth to create flash mobs that would spontaneously show up. One showed up Christmas Eve and one Easter morning, also so fun. I recall this event we called Setting the Scene, which was an idea to bring together adults and children for this Advent storytelling and decorating, a potluck supper, and a hayride through the then new Island of Life. And we didn't know if anyone was going to show up. And when it started, really hardly anyone did. We had the organizers, a handful of people. And we were prepared, maybe we'd get 30. And then a few came, and then there were more. And every time I turned around, there was somebody else coming through the door. And then by supper time, there were 50. And then by the time we were climbing on the hayride, there were 75 people on hay carts, singing carols, looking at lights, and finding hope to carry us through December darkness. I've had so many meaningful experiences with study groups and grief groups. Oh, and then the celebrating we've had at pool parties and Saturday breakfasts and Sundays.
Okay, Julie.
You haven't enough? Okay, sorry. I could go.
25 years of good things, for sure. But we can't relive them all right now. We have about an hour-ish kind of framework this morning.
All right.
The past, of course, is a good place to visit, but we don't really want to live there.
Right. In the words of Isaiah, do not remember the things of old or consider the things of old. I'm about to do a new thing. Now it springs forth, do not perceive it. And as you often remind me, sir, a real gift of Christianity is forgiveness and the opportunity to let go of or reconcile, redeem the past, and move forward in love. Indeed, I have made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot from a lot of things that I am happy to sort of let go of over those 25 years too. So then, are we here to celebrate the future? Because I'm very good at living in the future, if that's what we're about. I love making a plan with people and figuring out how to get there. I learned how to make multicolored communion bread when children were planned worship one time. I learned how to make mosaic tile so we could use broken china to make mosaic trivets in an Easter service. They're still in our church kitchen. And I had to think ahead to learn how to do those things. I feel like I am constantly trying to figure out what comes next and how to prepare for it. Even now, I've been looking for a group of people from the United Churches in the area who might want to put together something for the 100th anniversary commemoration in June of 2025. So, Norman, what would you celebrate when you look forward?
Well, someday I can't wait to celebrate my retirement. No more hour-long drives to and from work. But I'm so grateful for the time that I have spent in jail, I like to say, or I've worked in jail. I've met so many amazing people there. And I've heard life stories I could never have imagined. And I've seen people make positive changes in their thinking and in their actions. I've learned so much about faith and about God in jail. It's the kind of work, though, that feels a lot like planting seeds. You plant the seeds, but the growth and the future isn't in my hands. Maybe I'll never see what happens to those seeds. So the future isn't always assured. And as much as I hope for the best for the women I work with, I also worry about them. There are no guarantees. Hope can be tinged with anxiety.
For sure. There's always the fear of failure. I remember all of the things, well, maybe not all, but a bunch of the things we've tried here that have not worked at all. I remember John Dolph and Mark Scott and Beth Kerr and I thought we were brilliant when we came up with this youth initiative we called TGIF, and we consulted, we thought through all the options, and so we were going to plan Friday after-school conversations at Tim Hortons for high school youth, and we would pay the bill. How could you not engage? They did not. I think about what I've learned about technology over these past 25 years. Clearly not enough about sound. From the Christmas Eve in 2004, when I was teaching myself this program that was called PowerPoint, and borrowing a projector from the school division and perching a screen up on top of the organ so people would look up when they sang the hymns, to the Abundant Life Project, we called it, where my teammate Beth and I taught ourselves how to engage with Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. It was Twitter then. I can't believe how much I learned as I've tried to live into the future. But technology always comes with costs and some kinds of losses, even in the excitement of new ways to engage. And it comes with very practical problems. When there's no power, when there's no internet, when there's an ice storm. You remember Thanksgiving 2019.
Absolutely.
We were stuck in our homes for days.
I do. And then there was COVID, which turned us all upside down, and I observed you learning a whole lot more about technology and video and live streaming and sound and things I had no idea. And Julie, what course in seminary did you take to learn all that stuff? I remember coming in to lead worship in this large sanctuary, which was empty, while you took care of all of the live streaming needs at the back. And we all experience the ways that the pandemic dramatically shifted how our culture and society engage.
And then I got sick. And then my sister died. And then I had emergency surgery. And then my cancer stabilized, whatever that means. But for how long, nobody knows. And I still have treatments and side effects and mobility challenges brought on by it all.
And you are in a whole new process of trying to sort out how to be the new you, who lives and works with illness, who probably doesn't know how to prepare for next week, much less next year or beyond that.
That's true. Not to mention that the world is not giving us a lot to celebrate at the moment, with political tensions and divides and storms and wars. And wasn't it last week maybe, or the week before maybe, when you and I had this conversation where we said it felt like everything around us was going wrong and falling apart?
Yes, it was, yes. So, if not the past, if not the future, then all we have is this moment. This moment is the gift.
But Norman, it is so difficult to stay in the moment.
Yes.
Especially if the moment is painful. And I don't want my celebrating to be a denial of our struggle. And God's miracles take patience, changing caterpillars into butterflies and water to wine, changing seeds to oak trees and night to day, changing winter to springtime. I am not good at the patience part. As I said, I want to leap to the part where it all comes together. And even as I say that, I know it doesn't always come together. It isn't even the point. The moment is the gift.
And if you're better with the future, you could say that I'm probably better with the past. Isn't that how people think of Anglicans? Steeped in traditions that hold the memories of our faith. You may know the old joke, how many Anglicans does it take to change a light bulb? 4. 1 to change the light bulb, and then 3 to complain about how they like the old one better. Right, Lori? We can spend a lot of time in the past resisting change, or at least I can spend a lot of time in the past. I can resist change. And so it's easy to forget how much there is to celebrate right now. After all, it's all that we truly have. We can receive the gift of this moment because God is here. God is now. And this moment, perhaps wished for from the past, or maybe the seed of future memories, this moment should not be taken for granted. So the past, yes. The future, yes, too. But this moment is what we truly celebrate today. We are making time for each other, and that is truly a gift. This celebration is a way to say that we're all in this together. Julie, you're one individual, of course, and we're so grateful for all that you do in spite of everything. But all of our lives have been linked together with you and with each other over the past 25 years. And that is worth celebrating. We link arms because we know that being together is always more powerful than being alone. And so we celebrate that. We link arms because we can get through most anything that comes our way when we're together. We celebrate that too. And we link arms because together we want you to know that we appreciate so deeply all that you've done. We support you unwaveringly in all that is to come. But most of all, we value everything you are right now with our faith and with our love.
It reminds me of the kind of celebrating that Anne Weems wrote in her poem, I celebrate the Church of Jesus Christ, where 2 or 3 or thousands can gather together in God's name and touch this world with the amazing good news that somebody cares, that God joins us in community so that someday this world will be loved to wholeness. I celebrate this community where the people say yes in the face of no, where they light candles in the deepest night, where healing and compassion leave no time for self-righteousness, and the life-sustaining love of Christ is evident in the lives of the believers.
I know, I love those words. And the poem also says, I celebrate the Church of Jesus Christ, whose supportive community holds me when I'm tempted to give up, enfolds me when I'm tempted to give up, enfolds me when I'm hurting, affirms me, reaches out to me, gives to me, receives from me. I cannot live abundantly without this community, God's church, where turning to one another and working and rejoicing with one another is a way of life. She writes a great deal more, but why don't the rest of you join us in celebrating with some of her words? I celebrate this way of life that takes me and mine from the center of things and focuses on ours and theirs. I celebrate the trust we hold, the spirit we share, the attitude of partnership. I celebrate that love lives among us, that God's Spirit pervades our being, our community.
For God works miracles in common clay pots, and every day is a festival of faith.
Amen. And we sing exactly this festival of